So traders, I've been doing some analysis today. Today for me is Sunday morning. I've been up since 3:30 this morning and looking at the markets and thinking about the markets. And I want to share some things with you that may come to surprise. What this video is more for the next, say, 6 months, maybe even for the next couple of years. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so I want to share some things with you when it comes to stock market. Okay, I want to talk to you about the mining sector as well too. Again, this is not for the day-by-day activity. Obviously, some videos that I do is like, hey, what's happening this week and so on and so forth. But this is a bit more over the next, say, from now to the end of the year and some other big picture stuff, okay? And I think you're going to really get some ideas out of this here to really help you. Guys, I'm actually running a webinar today. So if you need help with your trading, I'm going to be sharing with you my #1 trading system to trade in this volatile market. Right now, it's hard to buy and hold, but trading these markets is very, very, very fantastic. I've just come off an incredible trading week, and I want to share my trades with you that I've been taking on this training. So go to John's free training or link in the description. So let's have a look at this here. I'm sharing with you right now a stock called ACI. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy this stock, but I'm bringing this up because it's just one of the stocks that I've been watching and sort of keeping an eye on for that. Even though the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, and they've had some pretty big red days, right? Even though they've had some pretty big red days, there's still a basket of stocks that are in bull markets that aren't, having a bit of a meltdown right now, or meltdown, that's a bit of an emotional word, right? Are having a bit of a strong pullback. They aren't doing that. In fact, they could be holding and getting ready for some really significant moves coming in the market. And we just need to be alert for this sort of stuff. Now, it's never about what I think in these markets. As I always come back down to just let the market do the talking. Our egos will always get us destroyed. And you're probably right now sitting here, if you've lost some money recently, knowing that it's come from your ego, right? Thinking you know what's definitely going to happen. Which that's the biggest wake up call, right? No one does. Ray Dalio, Paul Tudor Jones, like no one knows what's definitely going to happen. So the best way to actually trade this market is, firstly, keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is what? The actual market itself. So the first thing when we're looking at is things like, just because the market's pulling back does not mean there's not going to be some really good buying opportunities, right? Some bullish opportunities. So for example, ACI would be a stock that I'm watching right now. Now, why am I watching this particular stock? Because right now, we've been in a downtrend, right? We've been making some, as you can see, let me just bring up my little drawing tools. We have a high, lower high, lower high. Mark comes down, mark comes up, lower high, right? So we've done that through there. We had a bit of a double bottom through here as well too, right? So, but right now we could be doing what? We could be actually getting ready for maybe a higher low, right? So we could start to develop something like this, and then we get a breakaway bar like that, and then we start a very nice move to the upside. So the hardest thing to do in environments like this when it comes to the stock market, and as you can see, when we're looking at these sort of the S&P 500 and all that sort of stuff over here, the hardest thing to do is look at the S&P 500. Then have that as a bias towards your trading throughout all stocks. Oh well, the S&P 500 is down, so let's actually start to look for bearish trades. Now, the thing is that it's not that simple, right? Because if the S&P 500 is down, let's look for bearish trades. But what happens if there's a bullish setup and you don't take it because the S&P 500 is bearish? But then suddenly the S&P 500 has a very big a spring in its step, for a few days, and that bullish trade worked out. You see what I'm saying there? So that's where we think is our biggest issue, right? Our thinking is our biggest issue in the marketplace. And so we want to try to keep that away and just keep it down to simple things like, looking at things like, things, and again, like I'm looking at this here, I can see how we've got, and this is just an example, guys, of what I'm looking for across all stocks, not just this one stock. And I'm not saying I'm going to be buying this stock. I still have rules that need to be in place. But I can see how we've had this sort of low point, we've had this middle point, and we've had this high point. So that tells me if we start to break above 31, then there could be a good chance of this thing running back up to 37, as an example, right? So we can see what's happening through there when it comes to these markets. But if I go actually bring these markets up, looking at these markets, I truly believe, and the market will start to give us some signals around this, that we are going to see an incredible buying opportunity in these markets. Now, it may be now, like we just never know. You know what I mean? Like right now, we're looking at the markets, and this is the S&P 500, but we never know. We could be getting very, very, very close to the bottom right now. Now, I don't want to hear what your thoughts are, okay? Because one of the biggest mistakes I made in my first 5 years is throwing well, that can never happen because we're in such a bad opportunity and the market's gonna blow up and oh my goodness, it's all over. The world's gonna come to an end. Okay. Let's actually bring it back a little bit here, okay? What happens through history, every single time, what happens after a bear market? We go into a bull market, right? This right now, guys, if you look at it, this is just a market really overall on a big picture basis. If you're looking at this from a big picture basis, and what I mean by a big picture basis is this, right? A big picture basis is, looking at, say, things like the monthly charts. The monthly charts are doing what? What is the monthly charts doing? We've just been slowly pulling back through here. So yeah, we may still get a bit of a pullback, and we may actually get down to that possibly even that 50% retracement, right? Down through here. We've actually got to the 38%. So we may even have a bit of a pullback down to the 50%. But what happens? What if on this big picture? Now, guys, this is monthly charts, okay? Monthly charts. What happens if the market is in a big move, and then we're just pulling back through here, but then suddenly it starts to bottom out here? Or maybe even come back down, but then suddenly we start to do something like this, and then we start to pick back up and go through a big move. Oh, John, that can never happen. Okay. The market will always surprise you. And one of the biggest thing, guys, is we need to look at the opposite of what we think, okay? Because anything is possible in the markets. That is the number one thing. Anything is possible, so we need to stay in tune with what the market is telling us and look for the possibilities of this. Now, again, guys, as I said before, this is for the next 6 months, maybe the next couple of years. Oh, but John, we're going into a recession. The market's going to crash. It's all over. You don't understand. Okay, let's actually, again, guys, more of a longer term opportunity here. Okay, it's what we need to do is try to look, because guess what? When the market does bottom, guess what's going to come? A very hard and fast bull market, right? It's going to come screaming out, and it's going to step on the pedal so hard, so fast, that you're going to be sitting there going, oh my goodness, look at all these stocks taking off like a rocket. And because I was so focused on the bear side only, that I completely missed the bullish side. But if I'm so bullish right now, I'm so missing the bearish side. Do you see that there? See where we need to be? In between. Not bullish, not bearish, but let's actually look at both scenarios, okay? Let's look at what the overall sentiment's happening right now. Like if we look at inflation. Inflation's very high, yes. But if we just go and have a look at the inflation numbers, let me just bring up this one through here. If we go look at the inflation numbers through here, okay, we know, and this is probably a representation of the 70s. Okay, so let me go back to here, max chart here for a minute. We know that just like anything in cycles, that what goes up really, really quickly is likely to do what? Is likely to come down really quickly, right? It's the yin and the yang. It's how every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So we just need to bring back, and guys, I'm talking to you from a non-emotional point of view. A non-emotional point of view, okay? I don't have a bone or a thing in this fight right now, but I'm coming from a non-emotional point of view to look at this from a logical point of view, so we can not make the mistake of missing out if the market is going to start the bottom. Now, as of today, no, the market's pulling back hard. That's why I've done videos the last few weeks saying, guys, get ready, something big's going to happen in the markets. And guess what? I was ready for that, and I benefit from the short-term move. My account had a really nice growth this week because it was focusing on what the market was doing, right? That's short-term trading. Now, guys, when it comes to your actual trading, if you're feeling stuck, but you just don't know where, but you'd like to get my help, then this is what I want you to do right now. I want you to go to johnscoachingcall.com, Johns, Johns jonescoachingcall.com. Book a 1 hour coaching call with me, and I'll be able. If you're stuck right now and you're not sure what you're doing, or you just don't know why you're not moving forward, then book a coaching call with me. I'll give you 90% off to the actual call as well too. Plus also I'll give you access to a $2,000 program as well too. So if you go to jonescoachingcall.com, you're about to book a coaching call and I'll give you all that sort of stuff. So looking at the actual markets, okay, let's actually bring it back to what I was saying before about the yin and the yang, right? Every spike, and this is every spike in the markets, including the stock market, what happens? Every spike in the markets, every time we get a spike, we inevitably get what? This. So this here, this is the 70s. This here is coming again. It is coming. Inflation's not just going to keep going up and up and up and up, and it's never going to come back down. No. We know that's how life works, right? We know that's just how everything works. It's whether you have a caffeine drink or whether you all this sort of stuff. We have these high periods, right? And then the market starts to cool off. It happens with everything. So this point right here, the inflation that happened back in the 70s, or happened back anytime we got a spike, we got a strong reversal, strong spike, strong reversal, strong spike, strong reversal. So if we're looking at the inflation numbers, and that's a big thing right now, and yes, we got the inflation pin recently, that we are going to see this again. So we need to be alert over the next few months or more to get ready for this period again, because we can miss out on some really good buying opportunities. And what's going to happen is the market is going to start to go in an upward trend before we actually get some really good data, right? The market is really smart. You're going to start to see these stocks, well, there's a lot of stocks that's in a big bull market right now, right? Or they're holding strong. So the whole purpose around this, guys, is that we never want to just, the biggest mistake that I made for so long in the markets is I always focused on the now and not stepping back and looking at from, my mentor calls it small picture, big picture, small picture, big picture. Small picture is what's happening right now this week. Just like I've been doing this last week with my market updates, right? That's more for trading, and I was talking about my trading and I had a fantastic week, very, very, very successful week for me with trading. But that's the short-term trading stuff, right? That's small picture. But the big picture, okay, what's happening right now? Where are we slowly going towards? People talk about currencies, you know what I mean? The currency crisis. Yes, there is a currency crisis, but not yet. Okay, we're not there yet. It's going to come on the second half of this decade, not right now. The currency crisis is coming, but it takes time for these big things to form into place. Makes sense? So right now, when we're looking at the stock market, what could be a big possibility that's happening on the big picture? We could actually be what? And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we need to be alert of what could possibly happen moving forward. We could have a move down through here. We could even get a flush down through here and then start to make our way back up. Oh, John, that cannot happen. Okay. Again, we need to remove the that cannot happen in the markets because we think we're smarter than the markets. And we need to look at the possibilities of everything that is happening in the markets. And as I said before, that we will start to see this market pick back up again. And when we do, we're gonna see an extraordinary quality move. Now, we don't know when that's going to be. Is it June? Is it July? Is it September? Like we don't know when that's going to be. Okay, so I'm not saying tomorrow, but I am saying that there is going to be a period where we need to stay balanced. If a professional trader is balanced. Okay, and now this is a trader, not an investor. Completely different levels. Okay, if you're an investor, this, buy and hold is your thing, and me, buy and hold the mining sector and gold is the way to go. Anyway, I'll talk about that in just a minute, okay? But looking at this here right now is that we always need to be alert on what is going on, okay? And not so dogmatic or so focused on one way. The market's crashing, it's always going to crash, that's it. Where do smart traders and investors, what do? The smart traders, guess what? They try to keep a neutral view of the markets, and then they respond to when the market's giving them a correct trading setup. They don't say, well, the market's bearish, so I'm going to go short. That's not professional trading. Professional trading, or being a good trader, is all about a sniper approach, right? Sniper approach to me is, and again, for me, traders, like, I don't trade a lot. Like, I do these market updates and these things that I do for you, but I don't trade a lot. I traded, was that 3 times last week? You know what I mean? But that's 3 times. But I'm looking at all markets. I'm looking at all markets every day. I'm looking at the stock markets, the cryptos. I'm looking at the Aussie stock market, the futures market, the Forex markets. I'm looking at these markets, right? Now, that's only about 3 to 4 hours, maybe 5 hours per day in total. But that's by choice, right? That's by choice. But the thing is that I don't trade a lot. I'm waiting for that sniper approach to get me the best opportunity that's going to give me the best chance of actually doing well in the markets. So just always be alert of what possibly could be coming around. Okay, yes, we're happening right now, but if we're so really stuck in by what is happening, guess what happens at the end of every bear market? There's a big, massive bull market that's coming out, and that is coming. Now, people talk about the currency crisis. That's not going to happen yet. Okay, we're going to go through another big recession, right? And there's going to be another big, massive QE package. It's just going to happen. We're going to see that over the next couple of years. There's going to be another big, massive QE package, but that's going to be the last one. Then, yes, on the other side of this decade, towards the 2030 mark, 26, 27, so on and so forth, that's when we can start to see massive debt restructuring and so on and so forth, right? But for now, yeah, we may go through a bit of a recession right now, and then the markets may bottom. Now, when may that happen? When the Fed decides to do a U-turn and we start to get a QE package, which people say that's never going to happen. They're going to keep raising interest rates to start to get this inflation under control. But as I said before, guys, whatever happens, the inflation is going to start to pull back soon. Soon, over the next few months or more, we're going to start to see that inflation pull back. Once that pulls back, guess what's going to happen to the markets? We're going to start to see some really big moves because now the inflation is not a big thing. And if inflation is pulling back, guess what? So is the cost of living and all that sort of stuff. So over the next few months, we've got to be ready for that because there can be some amazing buying opportunities in the markets. And we just need to be alert for that. Now, moving over now through to the gold and the mining sector here. Short-term analysis. We're not right now. Right now we're still in a bit of a bearish mode here, just because we had this, and some people are like, oh, John, you got it wrong. Some people are saying because I said that the mining sector is actually bearish right now. It is bearish right now. It still is bearish right now. The trend is down. Just because we've got an engulfing candle does not mean anything, right? I called for a fake out, and then that worked, and it completely reversed, and then now I'm getting people. I got one comment recently, right? And I did an update here. I said, okay, it looks like we actually could, we could still get some more downside in the GDX. Remember, guys, the trend hasn't changed when it comes to the GDX yet, right? Because the GDX is doing what? The GDX has had a down move, a down leg, and now we're doing what? We're just going sideways through here. So nothing's changed yet. Yes, we may get ready for a big upward move, but nothing has changed yet. And someone said to me, because they're putting my one of my few videos, oh, John, the GDX is going to bottom soon and going to go up. And then yesterday's video, he said, I told you. And I'm like, so are you saying, because it was this day here that he said, the gold mining stocks are going to start to go up. And he said, I told you it was going to go up. So he was shitting himself by morning, celebrating by the afternoon. Guys, remove that emotion, okay? Remove that emotion from the markets. And I know it's hard to do, okay? You might be new to the markets. But after a while, you're just like, okay, let's actually bring this back a little bit more and actually see what the market's doing. We're still doing what? Nothing's changed from here, okay? We're still just going sideways through here. So this could be a fake out before we start to get something like this, and then we go drop down again. Oh, John, that can't happen. Anything can happen. Now that's the short-term picture there. The big picture for me, guys, when looking at the overall big mining sector through here, is my long-term buy and holds are in the mining sector and gold. I am a very, very, very big believer that we're going to see an incredible long-term bull market. Now, this is for investors, okay? Long-term investors. Short-term, yeah, it's just going sideways right now. Nothing's really going on, but the trend has been down. So, but for an investing point of view, when it comes to the long-term markets, that the cycles of what we're seeing through here, especially in the second half of this decade when all this sort of crisis happened, we're going to see some incredible moves in gold and also the mining sector. But the thing is, guys, is that I say on the second half of this sector, but gold may bottom this month, right? It may bottom to next month or the month after, and then slowly makes its way up and doesn't, and we find a stigma bottom, but it doesn't really, it just slowly makes its way up for the next year or so. Then we start to get some really big rocket ship moves, right? Like that could be a big possibility as well too. But the long-term picture is that, and if we just look at cycles, right? Cycles from a perspective of, and again, if you've been around for a while, if you've been living more than, especially if you've got more than a 5 in front of your name, you know what I mean? You'd know that things do this, right? Everything does this, and that's why, like inflation's doing this right now. Guess what's going to happen? We're going to go through a down cycle soon. Everything happens, and this is where what great investors do. What when we're in a down cycle, like we are in the stock market, great investors are starting to what? They're starting to sniff around, aren't they? Great investors start to sniff around. Great investors start to sniff around. When the property market crashed, guess what? Great investors start to sniff around. Great investors start to sniff around. So we start to sniff around for a bit here. So, but if we have a look at these cycles from a big long-term cycle, the last 10 years, this is what the mining sector has been doing. Guess what's going to happen the next 10 years? Right, we're going to see this. So that's what I believe anyway. So anyway, traders, I hope this really helps you out. The long-term picture. Right now, this overall thing, the main point here, guys, is just keep alert that right now, yes, we're in a bit of a free fall and everything seems to be really bad, right? The headlines and so on and so forth, everything's really bad. But just keep calm, okay? Keep calm and be present with the markets, because there's going to come a time, and I believe it's going to be real soon as in over the next few months, not tomorrow, okay, that there's going to be a significant major reversal in the markets, and it's going to completely shock people. But the market will start to create some significant patterns. It'll create a bit of a double bottom. It'll create a high low. We'll start to see some sort of an upward trend in the market. So we need to keep it alert for that, because a major reversal is coming. Traders, I want to invite you to my webinar that I'm running today. And on this webinar, I'm going to share with you all the details to my #1 trading system for the last 17 years and how I only trade 1 hour per day. Plus, also going to be learning the 3 secrets that I had to master over the last 17 years to generate a really good income. If you go to johnsfreetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description, click on that. Go over there right now, register. If you are struggling with the trading right now, I promise you this is going to completely game change, because you're going to understand why you are going backwards and why you're losing money. And then I'm going to teach you exactly what the system I use that gets me a really high % win-loss ratio. So this is what I want you to do right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go over there, register for my webinar right now today, because you're going to absolutely love it. Or there should be a link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you on the webinar. So go to that right now, and I look forward to seeing you on my next webinar. Go to that right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go to that right now.